Hi, it's 9:30. Hi, it's 9:38 p.m. Saturday, April 12th, 2025. I don't know where I am. I am Shantae J. Good evening. I was here a couple about not quite an hour or so ago. I was in a mood. What's the reason for it? I don't know what it is, but I talked this morning. I talked and and I missed my whole video. I don't know what the hell happened, but I was not in a great mood about that. I wasn't. But anyway, I decided to come back. Because I said I would never upload things and not delete it, and upload things and delete it. Because everything I do is live. This morning, my whole I sit there because I thought I wasn't in the mood to talk with her recently. I had a lot to say, like about 45 minutes worth. Next thing I know, I'm exiting out, and I'm waiting to, my option is share. Whole damn screen went blank. I was not happy at all, and I'm not sure it was an accident. The universe, you know what? So then I said, I'll come back later on, and I talked, and I didn't save my video, and I need to try to save my videos. I don't know how, or what I'm gonna have to do is start recording. I don't want to go away from recording live. I like recording live. I like live, doing everything live, and then saving it, and then sharing it. I'm sharing my other platforms. They say what you're doing is going live and then sharing it, because some of the things I see here, some of the things that's here, I'll put on Twitter. Cause I'm starting. At first, I was like, I don't know, because people have they have ideas about what type of person they want me to be. And I could be serious, and what the young lady said she was about her business. I could be about my business. I can. But at the same time, on social media, I want to be myself. Who the hell wants to be serious all the time? There's nothing wrong with having fun, and enjoying life and being myself. And Twitter, I have the majority of my views on Twitter. No, that's not necessarily the case. The majority of my views was on my Facebook page, my brand page, my Facebook page, CJ Fashions on Facebook, that I can't do anything with now, because I'm still under my 180-day probationary, 180-day suspension with Facebook for whatever reason, So I can't do anything with it. I used to get at least definitely more than 10,000 product views a month on Facebook. Not that they were buying anything, they weren't. I said they window shopping, you know what? But as a new brand, I've been around for 4 years. I know at least these people are looking, browsing, doing a lot of that. So no, when I say Twitter, majority of my product views are on Twitter. That's not true. But right now, if I go to my analytics on Twitter, which for some reason I had to pay for it, you should be able to go to your Twitter account, and then you should be able to look at your analytics, and you can look at post by post, and then over on the section on the right hand side, it should be 4 sections, right? But for some reason or another, I don't know what my Android software or whatever is going on with it, but for some reason I can, but it depends on where I am. Like if I use a desktop, I can. But for some reason on my cell phone, I don't know, whatever it is. So anyway, so I went ahead and I went on ahead and subscribed so I could see my analytics. Cause I try to make it public. First, I have my reasons for it, but I'm not even sure about that. But if I go back this last year, if I go back to I look at last year, it's been about 40,000 product views on Twitter, which I'm not really proud of, because I'm looking at these social media people, and I'm looking at some of the views that they have, and so when I see my 40, I say it, then I say, well, maybe I shouldn't feel so bad because it's a new brand, so 40,000 product views in the last year is not necessarily bad, but at the same time I don't necessarily feel proud either. I say sometimes I can be my hardest critic, my hardest on myself, but I used to get the majority of my product views on my Facebook, my brand page on Facebook. You can still see the post, the hashtag SCJ Fashions, and then here, and then on Instagram, and my YouTube channel. I love to watch YouTube. I said, child, I have no hopes. I definitely don't have high hopes and expectations on YouTube. I'm like, YouTube, it might be a relationship that's going to develop over sometime over many, many years, because I had one subscriber. I'm getting close to 700 views on my YouTube. I got one subscriber, and yeah, I think it's 600. Last time I looked, it was 630 something views. That was the day yesterday, or the day before. I'm not expecting a lot because I'm new and I don't really expect a whole lot of people to know who I am. But anyway, it's Friday. I don't have any plans. I do have plans. I'm sitting here. I got my music on. You can't really hear because I don't know if I want to try to put this video up on YouTube later or not. And I can get away with listening to my music live on Instagram. But if I put it on YouTube, depending upon, I guess I'm getting to the point now where I'm trying to put list my playlist, so whatever playlist I'm listening to. I say exactly what I'm listening, where you can find it and where you can listen to the same thing. So sometimes that's helping. But it's Friday. I'm not going out as usual, And but yeah, for some reason I want to talk about refreshers. Someone gave me. I had 2 big containers of it, refreshers, and I guess it's getting ready to the warmer month. Good, moving more so towards the warmer months. Last year on my social media platforms, I was talking about the Capri Suns, the Hennessy Capri Suns, and I went ahead and I posted about it a little bit. It wasn't a collaboration, but for some reason I wanted to talk about it, even though I don't drink. I purchase alcohol almost never. Now I'm getting into a wine cooler person, or I'm getting older, and now I want to experiment with wines more. I even thought about signing myself up for one of those classes and stuff like that, trying to learn more about wines and things of that nature. I don't know, just out of curiosity. But for now, I drink my Seagram's wine cooler every once in a while. I guess if that counts. But anyway, so last year I was talking about the Hennessy Capri Suns. I don't know, a few people said they went ahead and they found it, because what I did, because then when I posted about it, for some reason I felt the urge to tell people where they could purchase it. And so all I had to do was Google Hennessy Capri Suns, and sure enough, it'll let you know the locations in the area where that product is available. So now this summer, I'm thinking about refreshers. It's supposed to be a concentrate. It's really good. It really is good. I didn't mix mine with water. And someone said that they're thinking about, the parts of refreshers to mix it with wine. I guess you can use alcohol if you want to, but mix it with wine and fruit, almost like a sangria type thing. So I guess, but anyway, for some reason I was excited about this summer. I don't know why, because I have no plans whatsoever, none whatsoever. What I have been thinking about, though, is the iHeartRadio Festival. Who's going to try? I've been meaning to look it up and see who's going to be performing at the iHeartRadio Festival this year, 2025. I said I was the Super Bowl, when I was getting ready, Super Bowl season. I was here on social media, very excited. I said I want to stay as a master class for one of these sports commentators. So lately, I've been saying I'm going to start watching sports more, not live, but definitely more ESPN and more sports shows, so that I can learn about the sport. I mean, I can watch as a fan and I'd be happy, pick a team and be happy for the team. But for some reason or the other, I'm interested in learning more about the sport and actually being able to talk about it. So the next time I feel the urge, to participate or to talk about things, in season like I did this year, here on Super Bowl 2025. I actually can talk about the sport in more detail. So yesterday, LeBron, is it LeBron James? Is it his show? I know he was a guest on the show. I forget exactly, but anyway, I was watching that yesterday. So I said that's one of those things where I had to be careful as to what I say because the universe, make me stick to it. I did say I was going to watch more sports shows and, I'm paying attention to sports commentators, trying to learn. And then I'm paying attention to everything, to the things that are at the bottom of the screen. I'm trying to understand exactly what it means, what I'm looking at, and things like that. But I hadn't looked in a couple of days. I hadn't. Not since I was I was at the, I told you I was staying at the VA campus in LA. I used to go over there and it's always ESPN is always on. So I started paying attention, as not necessarily what the commentators talked about, but as to guess everything that's going on as far as the stats and everything at the bottom of the screen. So I would understand it and necessarily be able to talk about it. But anyway, so what was I talking about earlier today? Neo. I'm a big fan, have been for a very, very, very long time. And I said, I watched BMF, and I was like, "Wow, that looks like him." But child, if I tell you what's been going on with me these last some years, I'm learning words. I'm like, it was talking about ops so it's a lot of people that may not look exactly alike, but they definitely favor. I was like, I wonder, is that him? Understand, because I knew him. Of course, we know him as an entertainer, someone of the music industry. But a lot of people over time, they definitely evolve. I would say that. And then, I was thinking back to some of my favorite ones when I was young. Queen Latifah, she definitely went into acting. LL Cool J definitely went into acting. Ice-T definitely went into acting. Ice Cube. And I was like, okay, so here we are here in 2025. I think it's what was that show? I definitely think it's 2024 because the new season's going to be coming up shortly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So now not just as an artist, as an overall artist, not just as a performer in the music industry, but now he's acting too. Not that he hasn't acted before, but this is the first time I've seen it. But anyway, but then speaking of all things, I was scrolling, and they said something about his polygamy. You know what? I say for my first initial response, I'm like, hell, if Hugh Hefner can do it, half his women, then he should be able to do the same thing. You know what? And then they wanted to bring questions as sexuality in the question. I'm not one to have that conversation with because I'm not interested in whether it's his sexual practices, whether or not but he's definitely publicly identified as a heterosexual man. So until he tells me anything different, tells us anything different, then that is what he is as far as I am concerned. But anyway, no, with all his women, he said he got 4 of them. No, not his wife, just his girlfriends. You know what? His girlfriends, he had 4 of them. And someone said, because I didn't know also that he is a single dad, 7 kids. You know what? They said he picked the kiddies up, something like that. You know what? So his 7 kids, you know what? And someone said, so how do you explain, talk about your girlfriend and your relationship to your children? And he said, I have, and it's not going to sound right, but he said, I have one to do the laundry, one to cook, one to, I was like, oh my God, here's something else. But you know what? So, and I was like, well, he was young. I think he's been married before. And maybe even so more than once. Definitely in public relationships. I would definitely say that much. So maybe he's just having a little fun. And then maybe at some point in time he'll settle down more, or maybe at one point in time, whatever agreement or relationship these that they've gone into as a group, maybe they will continue on, I guess, whatever. But anyway, but as far as sexuality, I'm not interested in talking about that. But anyway, so I'm scrolling a little bit more, and I saw something. What's here? No, and anyway, I forget exactly what they were talking about. It was the what have you. They talked about two separate people, and they was listening almost like couples. But anyway, I'm seeing this old show. It had to be last year. It looked like it's probably from like a Vegas performance. And they talk about Usher Raymond, and they talk about him in reference to some young lady that he going out and he's singing to in his performance, and they talking about the young lady, how she's single and available. Well, she might be single and available. From my understanding, he very much so. It's not. If I'm not mistaken, he went off and got married on Super Bowl week, the night of the Super Bowl. Because admit myself, I felt some kind of way. I was like, what? This had to be fake news. It can't be real. It can't be. I was like, because I remember I made my way. I told everybody. I said, who's going to Super Bowl? Super Bowl. I who's going to the Super Bowl? You know what? I definitely am. You know what? So I said, sure enough, because no one paid me any attention. If you knew a lot about what was going on in my life, you know why people weren't taking me seriously. And sure enough, Super Bowl weekend this year, where was I at? Out in Las Vegas. Was it this year? No, not this year. Last year, Super Bowl 2024. Where was I? Definitely out in Las Vegas, Nevada. Like I said, I told you so. I guess at some point in time, maybe people would not doubt me. I said one day I'm actually making it. I'm gonna be able to watch the game. But I was definitely in the Las Vegas area for Super Bowl 2024, and I was wandering down by the New York hotel, and they had this whole thing, this Cheeto chapel or something like that. I said, I wonder, can you get married there? You know what? And I felt the urge to go there and ask for some security. You know, they know me, someone on this like me too much. So I'm getting ready to go over there and start talking to the people at the Cheetos chapel down by the New York hotel. They're gonna look at me some kind of way. You know what? Anyway, so you know what? I said, you know what? Just for future reference, I will be careful as to what I think, because next thing I know, I'm like, what? You know what? And from my understanding, they get married like a drive-through ceremony. It was one of like a quickie Las Vegas wedding or something like that. So I don't know what's going on with the young lady that they talking about on social media. That I'm seeing. Is she doing interviews also? Like, oh, she a trip. She may be single, but he definitely is not. At least as far as I know, he went up and married Miss Jen something. I don't want to mispronounce her whole name. Something like that. As far as I know, they've been married for that's a little over a year now. So while she may be single and available, he definitely is not. I'm trying to think what else. What else? That is about it. But I didn't upload anything. I'm curious as to what's going to happen when I push this X way. You know what? But I feel like whatever I said this morning and whatever I said about 30 minutes ago. Well, I don't think it's been quite an hour. I think the right people, whoever it was meant for, definitely heard it. But other than that, I am Shantae J. Good evening.